So then, yeah, we've got these two boxes here. These ones I'll work on later. So yeah, my current thought process on these guys here. Let's just dump them out first, because it always looks cool to do something like that. And I can't remember how many I have. I think it's like 100 or 200 or so of them. So the workplace is finally cleaned up again, for now at least. And so yeah, we will be bringing all the things back once we get the new thing in the mail. And I should probably put the fire extinguisher back as well. I think we've been keeping it right here where it's easily accessible. But then, yeah, that's just unrelated stuff there. But I think that what I'm going to be working on now is something I've been planning to do for a while, but then I actually haven't done it for a while. But it is to get some of this stuff listed. We've got a whole bunch of Golden Lloyds and a whole bunch of dark purple air tanks and helmets, and yeah, we will see if we can get some of this stuff listed. That stuff there was stuff we got a long time ago. It was on Pick-a-Brick. And some other sellers, there's a fair amount of other sellers who also bought them and stuff like that, but then we just kind of left it for a year or so. I honestly can't remember when we got that stuff. And so then now we can get the stuff listed. I think on eBay I've been selling the Golden Lloyd for about $50 or so. But then eBay you have the higher fees and stuff like that. So I'll check on Bricklink, because I sold a whole bunch on Bricklink a while back for about $30 a piece, but it's been going up since, so I'll double check the pricing and stuff like that. But I think it's probably going to be closer to around the $40 mark, maybe $45 mark that I'll list it at. Even if it doesn't sell right away, then they'll at least just be listed for when it hits that price, because yeah, it's a pretty cool figure and stuff. And then I'll get some of those guys listed as well and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll get to work on some of that stuff next. But the other thing I do actually want to quickly fix first is changing the shipping costs to Australia, because before we were able to ship with the one shipping company through Stallion Express, who would be able to ship stuff to Australia for about $10, give or take. But then with all of the new rules and its packages over the border to America, which would then get shipped off to there, since that's no longer allowed, then it is going to have to be using the other company, which doesn't have a pit stop in America. And then that company, the shipping, it varies quite a bit. I've paid anywhere between $11 and about $20 per package to Australia now, but I'm still charging like $9.50 or $10.50 or something like that. So I am going to update the prices to match that stuff a bit. And so then after that stuff, I'll get to work on that stuff. So when looking at the Golden Lloyd minifigure, we can see on eBay after, like for example, if it sells for $50, then the 7.5 on shipping, this is to America, and then sales tax, and then at least I think this was America. Yeah, this was to Indiana, I believe. And then the sales tax and the fees removed, and then I removed the shipping from the price because it's all bunched together. Like it's added to that total, but then it's not removed when they show you what's removed from the fees and stuff like that. Then that's the total after fees, and then removing shipping. That means we're left with about $40.86 each on that minifigure there. And yeah, so then this here is what it looks like on Bricklink right now. And yeah, I was selling these guys at $30 a piece for a while, and then I was like, I have a feeling that this guy's gonna be going up in value a whole bunch more, so then I just stopped selling them. And as we can see now, there's one seller who has it at $41, but the next cheapest is $46 and stuff like that. So then if we look in Canada, the $50 one there is probably Canada. Yeah, there's one seller who has two of them at $50 in Canada and stuff like that. And so yeah, I probably will go for the same price I'm selling them for on eBay. I am selling them cheaper on eBay than most other sellers, but the thing is I've just got so many to move that I probably don't want to be selling it at the fuller price. Like on eBay, I think most of them are on like $60 to $70 or so. And I mean, they'll sell at that price, but the thing is I do want to try and move them in less than like 5 years or something. So that's why I do have it at 50 on eBay. And then yeah, so looking at the pricing here, should be about $50 or so on Bricklink as well as what I can price it at. And then of the minifigure, there's two exclusive parts, and the mask is a lot rarer. And then so we can just check the helmet. So yeah, the helmet, I've got some listed at $5. And then there's some at $4 there and stuff like that. So that itself wouldn't make it worth parting it out, since the other ones are just common parts. But we can look at the mask here. So yeah, someone sold 10 of them at $26. There's a couple at $40 or so. And so for something like that, it wouldn't be worth parting out for just that, because if we look, the average sold value is $31, but at $40 a piece, then you get 5 for the helmet. Then you would need, well, that's not really worth anything, neither is that. So then you'd have to, between the legs and the head's about like 50 cents or something. So between the legs and torso, you'd have to be able to get about $2.50 each on those for it to be worth it to list just the mask at $40. Give or take. And the legs here, there's quantity sellers in at about $2, but you should be able to get about $4 or so for the legs, and the torso is a lot cheaper. Someone's got a whole bunch at $1 and then at $2 and stuff. So I might part out a couple of them, maybe like 10 or so, but nothing too crazy, and stuff like that, because yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them, and I will quickly dump them on the table so we can see what we have. So then, yeah, we've got these 2 boxes here. These ones I'll work on later. So yeah, my current thought process on these guys here, let's just dump them out first, because it always looks cool to do something like that. And I can't remember how many I have. I think it's like 100 or 200 or so of them and stuff like that. And for those wondering, yes, these were all bought, all perfectly good and stuff like that. I don't do any of the Mexico stuff, even though I know that is a rampant problem. This stuff here is from Lego Pick-a-Brick a while back. And so yeah, I think I'm in, like, there was the newsletter went out talking about the parts that were retiring from Pick-a-Brick back when I bought these, and the mask and helmet were on there, and same with the legs and torso and the other parts. And so then I got these over the span of a couple weeks or months or something. I know I saw on the vlogs a while back. I didn't really show it I didn't really show the packages when they showed up, but I did show them all at the end and stuff like that. But then, yeah, so then these ones here, I think that the mask was like $7 or something. The helmet was like 50 cents, and the torso and legs were like $1.50 each or something and stuff like that. So all in, I think I'm like somewhere between $10 to $15, give or take, per minifigure here. So yeah, it's a decent return for them there. It did hold it for a couple of years and stuff like that, but yeah, we should hopefully be able to get this stuff listed and see a good return on it. And yeah, I can confirm it looks as cool in person as it does in the video, and stuff like that. So yeah, I can get some of this stuff listed. And the other reason I did want to hold off on listing some of that stuff was to see if I could put some of the stuff into here. So this here's the new storage system thing we've been testing, and I had a whole bunch of the CMFs here for a while, and so they were filling up the things. But now that we've sold a fair amount of them, I can just kind of move some things around, and then I can get them all into one of these probably. So yeah, I moved the stuff around and stuff like that, because yeah, everything else that was in here is all sold, so it's now just the CMFs. This one here, if we had one more divider, then that would be enough to separate the last of them, but all of the other spots are filled with something there and stuff like that. So there's just that stuff there. Unless that's 2. No, that's 1. Yeah, that's 2, not 3. But yeah, so then now we have this nice blue container here, which, for those who don't know, our plan is in the long term to switch away from a whole bunch of those boxes there and switch to just these. And so this one here is a test one that we have set up. It's a long-term test one, because basically we want to just see what happens if we put one on the wall, put some stuff in it, and just kind of leave it for a year or so, see like how much dust accumulates and all that type of stuff, and just see how it works. So we don't really put too much in here, and currently we're just putting bagged stuff in here, which is why those minifigures are in here and the Lloyds are and stuff like that. So that's what we are testing for that. And yeah, because optimally in the long term, if we can have just these things here and not have any dust problems with it or stuff like that, because I mean, you're never gonna have like a perfect solution. Like, for example, all the drawers, they're just open on the back, so dust can always get through the tiny crevices and stuff like that. So nothing's gonna ever be perfect, but you want to still get it as good as you possibly can. And yeah, boxes, it doesn't take long to just grab one thing, but when you potentially have to grab hundreds of things and stuff like that, it really adds up over the span of weeks or months or years and stuff like that. So if we can just have everything loose in these containers, then that would just speed up the picking process a whole bunch. So yeah, that's what those are for. So yeah, we're going to be putting some of these guys in here. And yeah, so the plan that I'm currently thinking is we will have 10 set aside that will part out. 10 of them set aside for eBay, although I think we already have a couple for sale on eBay. And then the rest we will list as complete ones on Bricklink. And then basically if eBay runs out, we'll just like take another 10 or something. Or if like all the masks sell or something like that, then we'll grab a couple more or something potentially. But for the masks, the prices are showing around the $30 to $40 mark. But since that is the part that everyone really wants from it, then I think that I will probably just go a little bit on the high end and then maybe only part of like 5 or so of them and go like $45 per mask and just see what happens, because some people genuinely just want the mask and don't want anything else. So if they can save $5 and not get the other parts, they might do that. I have no idea. So we will just see what happens with that. And yeah, I might just be completely overestimating how many we actually have here. For all I know, this is just like 100 or so, but we'll find out soon and we will get this stuff listed. And that should hopefully be a nice cash injection into business, although I don't think that's a technical term because it's inventory, not just pure cash. But when I had these listed a long time ago, they would sell like crazy. So yeah, the price has gone up, so that will have slowed down a whole bunch now. But yeah, we'll see. And yeah, I'll get to work now. So we now finished with the counting of them. So we put 10 to eBay. Each of these represents 10 on Bricklink. There is one extra one I will include in here just in case I miscounted or such. And 5 set aside for part out. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 to 20, 22, 24, so 240 of these plus 10 to eBay is 250 plus the 5 here, 255 plus the 1 extra here, so 256 Golden Lloyd minifigures. So yeah, hopefully this sells well and will be a good way to get some money back into the business and stuff like that. But yeah, then I will get this stuff listed then. So then I just got the air tanks and helmets in dark purple as well. These ones here, when I had them before, I had a whole bunch that sold because I had them like real cheap and stuff like that. But since it's potentially possible that this part won't be made again for at least a fair amount of time, I did want to just go on like a more premium end for these prices. Compared to the 6-month average, they're within like $1 or so, and stuff like that. I think this one's like within like 50 cents of the 6-month average, and this one's within like 80 cents or so. So it's not like it's anything too crazy relative to that, but it's not priced to sell fast for all of them or anything like that, because these ones here, pretty much everyone wants a dark purple spaceman. So then this here, I mean, at least of those who collect spacemen and stuff like that in Lego. So for the air tanks, I went at $1.95, and for the helmets, I went at $2.95 each. That's the same price I sell a set for on eBay. I sell a helmet and an air tank for $4.95 on eBay. And so yeah, then that is that there. So there was a few more than 1,000 of each. But then, yeah, just in case I miscounted, because I used the counting scale for these, I didn't manually count 1,000 of each, like count to 1,000 for each of them. I think there's like right about 1,100, a few shy of 1,100 for each of them. So then that way there's a bit of room for error in case I miscounted, or if I want to just grab a few more for eBay or something like that. Though I do still have some already set aside for eBay. So yeah, then that is now listed as well. Yeah, then that is now done. So yeah, then we have the Lloyd listed there, and then the dark purple air tanks and helmet there. Next up, I think I'm gonna just try and get this table just kind of cleared up a little bit. So yeah, then the next thing I will probably be listing, well, I've got some stuff here. I found a random Pokemon card. I have no idea where that was from. I think I found it inside of an envelope, so maybe it was included in an order. I have no idea. Then there's this stuff here that I was planning to list a while ago. I left this out from one of the Golden Lloyds because I need it for a minifigure, but I can't find that minifigure anywhere, so it's just going to end up on that table. Like a lot of stuff just does, it just kind of hangs out on that table until we can figure out what to do with it. And so, yeah, then what I will be working on now is I will probably first be washing these, and based on just the total amount of mass it'll probably be 2 wash cycles or so. But yeah, then I will after that create a listing for all of these boats and plane parts and some trailer things like this. Nope, that's another boat part. Like this thing here. I will double check that this isn't like super rare or anything. But yeah, these boat things here, they're usually damaged. And even if they aren't, they're just such an awkward size that you usually need special boxes. Well, like boxes that are in a normal shape just to ship it out, and it usually costs a lot and stuff like that. So just as a general thing, I've been planning to just kind of wait till I got a whole bunch of these types of things and then just create a lot on eBay at an auction. Even if it goes for $1, then it still just sells and it's out of the way and stuff like that. But yeah, so I will get some of this stuff washed then and stuff. So yeah, then like this part here, it is $4.50, which is a fair amount for just one part. But the thing is, it's just a really awkward shape. Something like this you don't want to send in a bubble mailer. So then it would just have to be shipped in a box. And then if you're shipping it in a box, then that's just like, you have to find a box that's long enough for this. But if you find a box that's long enough for this, then usually it'll be way too wide and stuff like that. So it's just, yeah, I mean, I could easily still list it separately and stuff. But yeah, just for stuff like that, I will be listing it here and stuff like that. And yeah, so I mean, these things here probably have a bit of value. We can just actually check. So that is 54101. And I never clicked on the search bar, so we will click on that and type in that. Computer's running a bit slow. I closed like 30 tabs, but we're still running quite a few tabs, so it's still a bit slow. So yeah, about $2.50 for those things there, which yeah, it's good price for just a part, but yeah, it's really oddly shaped item that you need a box and stuff like that. So yeah, then yeah, we're gonna just wash all this stuff here, and yeah, then get this stuff listed. And then yeah, the damaged minifigure parts sold again there for the 3-pound bag for $2.55. But yeah, like always, you never know if someone will cancel it, because sometimes they bid on it before they realize it's damaged or some other reason, and so about half of the time it gets canceled. It hasn't gotten canceled once or twice in a row now, so statistically this one probably will be, for all I know. But yeah, then I will get to work on this stuff. I did find another one in light bluish gray, so yeah, I will be keeping those two then on the side, I guess. So yeah, then we got the ultrasonic cleaner filled with them. It's not a perfect fit. It's going to be just slightly above the max fill line, but it's not like this stuff was just absolutely nasty or anything like that. So yeah, of the few things that are above the surface that won't really get cleaned quite as much per se, it's not the end of the world type situation or anything like that. But yeah, we'll get the lid placed on that. Always examine the cord, make sure no water went onto the cord. Plug that in, then start that, and I'll start it off camera because it can get really loud on the camera. So just got the first batch of stuff washed. I will be putting it to that table. I just wanted to let it drip a little bit into the sink instead of trying to carry it across the floor and stuff like that. And normally I am all for changing the water between wash cycles and stuff like that, but since none of this stuff was just absolutely filthy or anything like that, the water is still mostly clean. So I am just going to simply reuse it for the lower sections of the boats. Yeah, so then I'll get that stuff over here, and I did finally order the second one of those, so that should be here Monday. Yeah, so then bring this stuff over, and then we can see if we can kind of just place some of the stuff throughout here. I might add a little bit more soap a bit later on, not sure yet, but I think as long as we can get enough of them in here, actually, we probably don't need to focus too much on it because the water will get to the boats either way. We just need to try and get water in them so that we can get it to sink a little bit. Like that. One weird thing that for some reason I never think of is even when I'm wearing gloves, I can still just dry my hands. I don't know why I keep forgetting that for some reason. But yeah, there's a fair amount of boats, but it should fit in here with a bit of moving stuff around and stuff. So I'll work on this for a minute and then get to that washing. Yogurt time. So yeah, then we already sold one of the masks from the one that we ported out individually. So yeah, we listed the masks at $45 and the complete ones at $50. And within a few minutes or hours or something, someone did buy one of the masks at $45. So yeah, then that's selling already. Haven't sold any of the minifigures yet, but then I was just thinking, since we do have so many of them, I might actually go to $45 a piece instead of $50 a piece, because I think that would make it the cheapest on Bricklink in the world. And then since Bricklink has lower fees than eBay by, well, it's a bit complicated because eBay, it has higher fees, being, I think it's like 13%, but on Bricklink you have 3% fees. The 2%, 1% only apply if an individual order is over that. It doesn't apply to gross orders being over the value or anything. But then you also have PayPal fees on top. So you got 3% Bricklink and about 3% Brickout. I mean, not, yeah, 3% Bricklink, 3% PayPal, and stuff like that. So then if you do that combined, that's 6% compared to eBay's 13%, which is still cheaper. But then it is still, you do pay fees, but then it should even out roughly the same to what I make after fees on eBay per minifigure. And Bricklink doesn't charge fees on shipping. eBay does and PayPal does. So yeah, it's just a little bit cheaper there. So since there is less fees, although it's not like it's no fees, then I think if I price it around $45, it should be similar to eBay, and then that should, in theory, be the cheapest, I think, globally for these. And so then, in theory, those should sell, like, really fast and stuff like that. And then, yeah, because we got a lot of them that we need to move, so, yeah, it's, if you do $5 off of 1,000 of the, not 1,000, $5 off of 240, that's just shy of $1,000. So compared to the overall price, it's nothing too crazy. It's a 10% discount, and if that moves them a lot faster, we'll try that. And yeah, we'll just see if, like, for they sell really fast and stuff like that, then we would raise the price, or if they don't sell at all, we might adjust the price. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll work on a little bit of adjustments for that. So then just got the second mixer in now, and yeah, so this one here is the same model as my other one. So yeah, that is good now, because yeah, we did have the other one for a little while, same brand, but it was like an older version or something, and it doesn't really work well for drying the Lego. So yeah, we wanted two, because then I can be spinning one and let it spin while I work on filling up the next one and stuff like that. And in theory, it should speed it up significantly, because a lot of the time I'm just standing here waiting for it to spin, doing nothing. So yeah, I think they retail for like 40 Canadian, but if you get one from Amazon warehouse deals, they're usually like, I think I paid $27 plus tax with free shipping for the second one. And yeah, we can just see how well they spin. When I had the other one down here, it would only spin for a fraction of the time and stuff, but But yeah, then the older one still spins a bit better than the newer one, like for a bit longer, but they both still spin much faster than the other one, so that's good. And yeah, so this should work for when we need to use it again. And I did clean up a few things here, so I might rearrange some things a bit, and that way we can have a bit better counter space here and stuff like that. But yeah, then that is another thing off the list of things we've needed to buy. So then, just finished with the last of the parts there, and yeah, so I will add up the total value of all the different uploads in a little bit, but yeah, I was just uploading the parts, and of the review ones, there was actually one that needs to be consolidated, so that will end up in drawer 38. Those ones there, it is the same, because I say it has nicks / dings, but I'm not sure if it'll pick up on camera, but it's got like some of those grooves you can kind of see there. That isn't actually damaged, I don't believe, because it's on like pretty much every one I've found. But then some of them it's a little bit more severe than others and stuff like that. So even if it isn't damaged per se, I still like to describe it, just because not everyone knows that, and then it provides a little bit more clarity and stuff like that for some of those things and stuff like that. So that one there is why that is being consolidated, but most of them are going to be fairly unique comments, such as very heavy damage / wear and very heavy scratching / scuffs and stuff like that. So all sorts of fun things like heavy damage / wear, multiple nicks / dings, and some discoloring stuff. But yeah, then that there is all of the review items. So that is 99 items and 80 lots for 462.05. And so yeah, that is from the review container, which is a container where we usually don't really put anything in unless it's like a specialty part. Like the cheapest thing we had in here was, well, some of these weapons because they look cool. Then there was the thing with the sticker, because it was I don't have a container for the sticker comment that I use and stuff like that. But then most of the rest of the parts, you've only got a few items here between these ones here that are under $1, but all the others are specialty ones that are over $1. And we can see the most expensive one is the forced man, forced woman. At least I think that's, no, that says male. Okay, I must be mixing up with a different one. But that head there, then we got a comma there, and then some barding and some reddish brown ones that surprisingly the clips never broke when I tested them. I'm still listing it as possibly brittle brown, but the clips, none of them broke when I attached a bar to it, which is a very rare thing and stuff like that. So yeah, most of these things here, they got like forceman stuff, so just a lot of the specialty parts that are still ones that I will list even with more extensive damage descriptions. But yeah, if there's like a city torso, I wouldn't be listing stuff with comments like that. And these ones here, they probably won't sell for a long time or anything like that, but they do still sell, so I keep listing them and stuff like that, because some people truly just are fine with it or want a part that's specifically damaged if they're creating a mock and they don't want to damage a new part in order to achieve something. Like some of those mocks and stuff like that will, like, for example, have like a Lego sword. I listed one somewhere that will, like, for example, go through a torso, and so then they need a torso to like modify to in order to do that, or a sword to modify to do that, but they don't want to do it to a newer one, like one that's in good condition, so they get one that's damaged. Or yeah, there's all sorts of reasons and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is done. I will add up these numbers now. So those parts are $2,865.30 if I did the math correctly, but I can't read some of my handwriting. Like, I don't know if that's a 4 or 9. I did a 9 and stuff like that, and I could have entered something wrong or something like that. But yeah, so then this here is all that we listed from a 5-pound lot plus part of, I think it was like a 2 or 3 pound lot. So all in all, there's like 6 or 7 pounds. This doesn't include the minifigures we set aside for eBay and stuff like that. And like the 20 and 25 there, those are from when I added the saddles and horses separately manually, because those ones there I already had some listings created and wasn't trying to rewrite the comments on them or anything like that. So then we can just confirm nothing is missing remarks, and so then we can refresh this and get rid of the remark that it doesn't need anymore. So there's that, and then we can put away drawer 304 and put away drawer 303. And so then, yeah, that is done now. We can put the pen away too. So that is another one of the things done. And so next up, I'm probably going to get this listing created for all of these boat and plane parts. And yeah, so this here I'll put on eBay as an auction, 5-day auction, ends on Saturday at 9 p.m. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Even if it goes for just a few bucks, I'll be happy to move these because they take up a lot of room and stuff like that. But yeah, that will be the next thing I get listed. So then I just got the auction up here. So yeah, just starting at 99 cents. We're just trying to get this stuff moved out of the way. So yeah, it's just over 5 pounds of boat parts and plane parts and stuff like that. I photographed some of the damage, like some stress marks there, and some dents and stickers being weird and stuff like that, and some marks and stuff. And then just added in the description about that a little bit more, and it's frozen. There we go. For some of that stuff there, just to get that stuff there. Yeah, so now I did actually have the box from the Amazon when they dropped off that thing, so I'll probably just put all the stuff into that for now, and then probably get started on this, because yeah, the thing I'm waiting for the project still hasn't shipped. I think I'll give it a couple more days, but then if it's been like a full week with no communication from them, I might reach out and just ask for an approximate shipping timeline or something. But yeah, then in the meantime, I have to continue working, so I will probably start on some of this stuff here. That is something I've not seen before. It says Lego, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if it does. It might. That looks so odd. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and now I'm confused. It looks custom. The plastic doesn't feel completely off or anything, but that is definitely unique. That's not a Lego. Interesting. Let me just check a bit closer underneath the light. Yeah, this says 3462 and nothing else. So if I go here, 3462 and get that open there, then yeah, that is just not it. So yeah, that is not Lego. I'm not entirely sure what that is even supposed to be, but yeah, then I should get started on some of this stuff. But then I forgot to mention from when we went through the numbers, the previous slide we uploaded, the 3,000, that didn't include the minifigures we put to eBay. It also doesn't include whatever city parts we set aside into there. And yeah, like for example, I'm going through this box here, and we basically just put it into 4 or 5 or 6 containers. We have the one, which is garbage parts, non-Lego things, or just yellowed bricks and stuff like that. Container 2 is city parts, so none of these ones are listed right now, so they don't go into the total, but they do still have value, and they will get listed eventually. So that's for that there. And then the third one is parts that we do want to list now. So this here is like things from themed stuff or specialty parts and stuff like that. Then, well, we have the one pile on the side here, which is parts that we need to see if we need to add the alternate number to. Then we put some stuff in missorted for stuff that's just like regular bricks mixed in. Then some common accessories we put there, so that wasn't included in the pile, in the value average. And then the last one is the garbage minifigures for all of the badly damaged minifigure parts and stuff like that. Because when we do our initial sort there, we just still separate those out. And those ones we didn't include in the value total either, but we still get like, well, we just sold it again and the buyer did pay, I think it was like $2.25 for 3 pounds. So then if we do the math on that, divide that by 3, so that's $75 a pound Canadian for the damaged minifigure parts. So that wasn't included in the total either. So then if you had that $3,000 worth of stuff, then you should be able to add between city, accessories, and damaged parts, it's probably like 3.5 or maybe 4,000. I don't exactly know, but it definitely, there was some value that wasn't included in that total, which does go more towards the overall value. So just finished now with going through that container, dumping the last of the city figs in here. So yeah, this container is definitely getting a bit more full, but yeah, we're still a long ways away from it being completely filled with city, because yeah, we're gonna wait to list it until it's actually full, and then at that point it'll be like 50 pounds or so of just city, and then 50 pounds, that's about 5,000 minifigs, and it'll take a while to go through, but might as well do it all in one go for that. So that's done. And so yeah, from the initial keeping container that we started with, this here is all that we'll be listing for now. Then yeah, the rest of it was either city, garbage, or damaged, and yeah, so that is done. A few miscellaneous things there, and then 3 heads. I kept this torso here because it was on one of them, so I'm not sure if that might have been from a build a minifig thing or something, so I'm just keeping it there as a reference point for now. But then 3 heads, I can double check to see if they have the 88475 number on them yet or not. And then next up, I think I will be working on a few things from the ledge, and yeah, so I just put some parts up there that are missing numbers on Bricklink every now and then when I find them, and then when I got some time, I break them open, see what happens. I usually, unless it's like a super cheap part, I usually just wait until I find something that's damaged. This one here, it won't really be able to pick up too well, but it was completely covered in marker. I cleaned a whole bunch of it off, but I think I scratched it up a bit because I was using a real rough bristle, though I'm not really seeing too many scratches or anything like that. But yeah, there's some stuff around its eye and stuff like that. So yeah, just going to find a few parts I want to take apart, and then we will look on the inside for some numbers. So all of that stuff is done, and yeah, I need to try and figure out what to work on next. And yeah, there's always lots of different choices, but I don't really want to start any project that's going to take too long, since I'm going to be pulling orders in just a few minutes and stuff like that. So yeah, I will get to work on something, but not quite sure what that is yet. Your time. So today we're shipping out 292.49, and so that is for these orders here: 4 Bricklink, 2 Brick Owl, and there's the 1 Pearl Gold mask that sold. And then yeah, sold 3 of these. I have no idea where we got them. I know it's from something, but they were listed and eventually sold, and they sold for $25 with 15 on shipping for the lot of 3 of those, and then a couple minifigures on eBay, and then the damaged thing on eBay for, I think it was $240 this time. So that is that there. So we will get this stuff packed up and shipped out, and yeah, then yeah, work on some stuff. So I was initially planning to just list this set on eBay, but as a complete set, which it goes for, I think it was like $70 or so Canadian. Except then I looked at it, and each of the minifigures on eBay is currently selling for about 30 to 35 bucks a piece. So yeah, then I am going to open it up and sell the minifigures. I mean, it's not like they're going to sell fast or anything like that. But then as well, I'm opening it, since I'm opening it and everything like that, then I will work on a Bricklink inventory for the set as well, because if you look at set 40765, there is currently no inventory, and no one is currently working on an inventory, because then it could say pending or such. And then I looked in the pending minifigures, and no one's got any of them labeled as that. Let's actually just search up Cadet and just see that, in case someone didn't enter a set number or something for it. And there is actually one here, and we can see when they made it. And we can see the entry was made on May 3rd, so 3 days ago. And then we can go here, and actually over here, and search up Cadets and see if any images were actually added or anything, and no images have been added. So yeah, someone made a base entry but never did anything else. So I guess I can use that entry there. I believe it is probably the next Star Wars one up, and stuff like that. And then yeah, just work on this set. It will take a little bit, but not too long. And yeah, then I will get to work on that. I was just taking a look at the torso, and direct from Lego, let's see if we can get it there. You can see there a bit, there is a stress mark on the side of the arm, direct from Lego. It seems fine on the other side, and I don't think I saw it on the other torsos, but yeah, definitely interesting thing to see there. So just finished with the initial run of the set for all the stuff. So had to add an entry for the arm combination thing, and then one for each of the arm sides. That stuff's unrelated. And then one of the base torso, one of the base torso with the arms, and one of the complete minifigure. Then I can add the inventories for the minifigure, the base torso, and the arm combination thing after those things are approved, but that stuff's done. And I have the inventory here with the extras, and my computer's running a bit slow, with the extras and counterparts added. We can't add the things pending approval, such as the minifigures, until they're approved and stuff like that. And then I was just checking on some different things to add the counterparts and stuff. But then that should be done now, and just waiting for some of the stuff to be approved. So I finally got an update of the part that I needed to continue the project, and so after 7 days after I ordered it and it not being shipped, I reached out to them, and then they responded, and they said it was shipped yesterday, but they were out of the office for 5 days or something, so no orders were being shipped or something, and stuff like that. But it is shipped now, so that is good. And I paid for express delivery, and on the website it says that's like 3 days or something, 3 business days, but in practice it's almost never that fast. So the current estimated delivery is for the 12th. So then today being Tuesday is the 6th, so Wednesday 7th, Thursday 8th, Friday 9th, Saturday 10th, Sunday 11th, 12th Monday. So potentially next week Monday we should have the part. So now that we know what our rough timelines and stuff like that are, we can get to work on some stuff. And so then I will probably then work on this container here or something like that, and see if I can record more stuff and all that fun stuff. So we've got some timelines for that stuff, and so that is a good result now. Yogurt time. I was just opening the one set, and there was this weird piece of paper in there. So I guess during the printing process, the next page after the instructions or something like that was just kind of there. It feels like the same material as the instructions and stuff like that. It's definitely an interesting thing, though. I don't know if I've ever found something like that in a set before when parting it up, but interesting nonetheless. So just finished with the next batch of Lego getting washed. So let some of the water drip into there, and then I like to tilt it this way, and then it kind of drains into the sink a little bit. Then this one here, we'll mix it around a little bit because that's always a bit fun. But then this one here was 2 different lots. I believe about 10 pounds of minifigures in here, so that is good. And I was thinking about washing them separately, but ended up just washing them all in one go, because why not? In the future I do plan to potentially go back to only 5 pounds per wash when I'm more so potentially caught up one of these days on some of the stuff there. For now then, we are still just at the 10 pounds per wash approximately. Then I can get this stuff now out to dry, and then after that I think I will then start working on this box here of parts to list next, because this here's from the recently washed stuff. This one here was a small one that we washed, and I'm pretty sure this was not washed yet. This here's some things for eBay. We wait till the box gets full before we list stuff there. So I am going to get the stuff out of the cleaner and then work on this. And then now we've got the 2 spinners. So then, this one here I started first, and then I can let it go just for a little bit now for this first time. But then while I'm emptying this one's spinning, and then I can just quickly top up the spin thing a little bit there as needed. And then I can empty that one. And then, just while I'm emptying this one I can continuing to spin and rinse and repeat. And in theory, that should speed things up a whole bunch. So just finished with getting stuff washed, and yeah, we can see all the stuff that is cleaned off again, so it's always nice to be able to see that. And yeah, then I can now get this stuff flattened out a little bit and then start drying. So let that go, and yeah, usually as soon as I start draining it is when I put the cutting board over, and no, the cutting board doesn't really handle the weight well. It is cracking. Only a limited amount of uses you can get out of one of these for propping this up. We'll have to see if we can get a better one of these days, but yeah, I can't really record myself doing it because I have to lift it up and stuff, but yeah, I'll have the cutting board now. And so then, yeah, with the cutting board added, that just tilts it slightly so that all of the water can get to the drain on the other side a lot easier and stuff like that. So, yeah, then we just let this drain, then we clean it out, and it's ready for the next use. But we probably won't use it for a little bit because we need to get some of the stuff dried and everything like that first. So yeah, then it is now drained, and yeah, I still genuinely don't know if this pink stuff is related to the soap. I doubt it though, but there always seems to be some stuff at the bottom of the container and stuff like that, and it doesn't always look exactly the same or in the same amounts or anything like that. So it's not necessarily like I'm 100% certain it's the soap, and I think it'd be weird if the clear scent-free, dye-free soap and stuff like that would somehow leave a pink residue. Maybe it's yeah, not sure what, but yeah, then we can see all of the stuff there, and so I just usually just grab a couple tissues and just kind of wipe the base of the thing. Sometimes I need a few more, sometimes a few less. The important thing is to get around the drain because that's where a whole bunch of the stuff is, but yeah, you can just definitely see how much gunk and stuff that is removed by this thing. And yeah, so that is all good now. I personally don't have any problem with leaving just a bit of the water in the base. It'll either evaporate or just kind of sit there till next time or something, but yeah, it's not too big a deal if there's just a little bit left, but I'll usually still just grab like one more tissue or something just to dry it up and clean it completely. So the only parts from here that I will be putting back into the drawer here are things that I would reasonably be using for minifigures. So for example, lightsaber bars is something that I would put in there. Used lightsaber hilts I would put in there as well. And then probably, normally I'd say maybe things like the katanas, but I am going to be not doing that because there's always a lot of them and they really fill up the drawer fast. So for something like that, I probably won't. And actually, I am going to take the hilts out because, yeah, that drawer, I'll use it for only parts that are ones that I wouldn't reasonably be able to get at least like 25 cents for or so if I listed them individually. So that's why something like a 4L bar is fine to go in there, because I'm not going to list one of those in used condition in like red or something, transparent red for 25 cents. But something like a katana, it's a bit on the high end for it per se, but it's not like a completely unrealistic price or something like that, and stuff like that. And yeah, because like for those who don't know, for the used parts, since the used purge, I only price any used part I have for sale I price for at least 25 cents. I just don't list anything less than that, and if something is worth significantly less than that, I'll either not list it or I will list it at 25 cents, knowing that it'll just either never sell or it's just something that'll very rarely sell or something like that, and stuff like that. So yeah, then I am going to go through this and yeah, just keep some parts, but most of the rest are going to go into the containers to get ready for listing. Yogurt time. So yeah, I just got back from a trip to Stallion Express where I had hoped to get the packages that I was told about that had issues and stuff like that. But when I got there, they told me that they weren't actually there yet, and that I would get an email when they were there. The initial emails didn't state that I would get emails when they're there, and stuff like that. And the way they were worded, it sounded like they would be there within like 48 hours or so. So I waited just a little bit over 2 days from when they first said that, and then went there. And so that was like a 50-minute round trip or so. So it's nothing like too crazy. But then yeah, they weren't there, so it was in the end a bit of a waste of time. But now we do know that we will get an email when they're there. But yeah, it sounds like it's just backlogged like anything. And yeah, so they've been getting shipments every single day. And yeah, mine wasn't in the ones that have arrived yet. So yeah, we'll have to see. And by the sounds of it, it's 5 packages that I put the labels on the outside of the package instead of the inside of the package. And that's why I have to go there again and stuff like that. But yeah, it should be hopefully good going forward. And then, whoops, I bumped into some Lego. I got the thing that I was waiting for in the mail. This wasn't expected until Monday, but it is here today. And yeah, this here is priority number 1. So yeah, everything else is going to be on hold again while I work on this. So this might be close to the end of the vlog, depending on how much time this takes and stuff like that. Or for all I know, I need to order another part and then wait a couple more weeks and I'll be back to work on some of the other stuff very soon. But yeah, either way, I will put this stuff to the side and then get back to work on this. And in good news, the inventory for the Camino training facility is now approved and added to Bricklink. So yeah, they were pretty fast at it, and yeah, all added. A couple of interesting parts in the set, and yeah, so that is now all done. And then the inventory for the minifigure is also approved, and then the inventory for the torso is also approved. And then the inventory for the arms is also approved. Yogurt time. We are shipping out 573.33 in orders today. So then, yeah, I just paused on the other thing for a little while now. It's already Friday night. I made some progress on it, but need to do a bit more stuff. And that stuff will probably take a little while. So I do have some free time. And that means I can get back to working on some of this stuff. And that pile there. So just finished now with the last of the parts. So yeah, these here are the only parts I'm leaving in the drawer. Just the regular parts that you'd use, like lightsaber ends, batarangs, the 1x1 transparent light blue tiles for a whole bunch of the Chima ones, and then a couple pairs of handcuffs for some of the Lego movie minifigs and stuff like that. Some of the syringes for some of the tranquilizers from Jurassic World, and a couple walkie-talkies, because there are a couple minifigs I use that for, and then like this, okay, yeah, that's damaged. I thought that was a second hole for some reason. I was confused. But yeah, I use that on like some Garmadon figures and stuff like that. But that one we won't be keeping because that is damaged. So that is done. And yeah, so even though the containers are starting to get a little full, I'm fine with that. So I will first process all of that. And then after that, we will list this. But that will probably take a good little while to get through. But I'll get started today. So yeah, then we have all of the parts here now, and yeah, it's time for the first sort, and yeah, that's the sort where I basically just grab the stuff and then put the stuff that goes in the city container in one container. Well, prior I would put the accessories into this container, but I'll only be putting the things like that in that container for the time being, separating out the damaged parts, the misordered parts, and then only after all that stuff is done, then do we start checking conditions to put them into these containers. Just found a fun misprint. For reference, that is what the normal one looks like. And this one here, we can see it's completely shifted to the side. Definitely an interesting one. It's, yeah, I just like to keep some interesting ones like that I find over the years. So calling it a day today, have filled up the garbage container. Well, the other timer is already almost full, so one full container for that. Then some parts set aside here for alternate numbers. And then, so yeah, this here is the stuff we are currently planning to list. This here is still all of the stuff I have to process for the initial sort. And we've had like 2 or 3 containers of city parts to be put in there. So overall, good progress. And tomorrow we should be able to finish this up. Yogurt time. So we're going to be working on version 3 of our project, and yeah, so waiting for some more parts to arrive for that. And yeah, we sold our first of the Lloyd minifigures, so it's good that they're starting to move now. And yeah, so then that thing should be here Monday, I want to say. So that means that we have some free time again to work on some of the Lego until then. So that'll be a good opportunity to get more stuff done. And yeah, so then, yeah. Today is going to be the end of the vlog then. So yeah, thanks for watching if you got this far. Today is Saturday, and the next end will be released on Monday, and the next vlog the Monday after that.